Welcome to Show Your Light. Real women, real stories, real turning points. If you need hope, courage, or a reminder you're not alone, press play. If you're building something, a business, a life, a new chapter, these stories will meet you where you are. This podcast is a companion to the book, Show Your Light Collective. And because we're recording in the podcast studio, you can listen here or you can watch the filmed version on YouTube. I'm Susie Sprigg, founder of Show Your Light, and the creator and host of this collective. Supported by writing coach Louisa Herridge, published by LH Publishing. Right then, let's begin. This episode is from Lauren Fenton. Lauren is a property investor, entrepreneur and coach, known for her action-first mindset and grounded approach to both building wealth and freedom. She works closely with investors and partners to create strategic, hands-off opportunities and projects designed for long-term growth. In Action First, Confidence Later, Lauren shares how success doesn't come from having it all together. It comes from backing yourself anyway. From bold career leaps to building a property portfolio worth over $3.5 million, she's always said yes first and figured it out later. This chapter shows that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's a skill you build through action, not perfection. Her work is driven by one belief: ordinary people are capable of extraordinary things when they decide to back themselves and learn as they go.
Every day, I let my imagination run wild. How do I make the most of this incredible position I'm in now? I've built a business that doesn't tie me to a single location. I have a beautiful home, a nice car, money in the bank, and options. And I don't take this freedom lightly. Freedom isn't about location. It's about choices and the options that you build for yourself. Property can happen anywhere. Coaching can happen anywhere. Investor opportunity conversations can happen anywhere. Whether that's a beach in Bali, a rooftop in Barcelona, or right here at home, cozy, exactly where I want to be. So let me ask you this. If you could be doing anything anywhere in the world right now, where would you be? For me, my two daughters are my number one priority. Everything else just fits in around them. Waking up to their little faces each morning, knowing I can choose them first every single time. There's nothing better, although let's be honest, flexibility doesn't suddenly turn you into calm, organised parent. I still managed to turn up to the school run with my pants inside out, like I actually did the week I was writing this. Flexibility doesn't remove the chaos, it just gives you space to laugh at it. So yes, freedom is great, but chaos still comes as standard. Beyond the madness, through the possibilities for our family feel endless. And that's the exciting part. It feels like time to be braver with our choices and more intentional about the life we're creating for them. Sometimes we don't even realise we've slipped into autopilot. We get comfortable in routines, in familiar surroundings, in what feels safe and predictable. And before we know it, we're just going through the motions rather than consciously choosing the life we actually want. I've thought about homeschooling and travelling the world for a year. I've looked at schools in warmer climates. I picture them growing up with more outdoor living, barbecues on the beach in the evenings instead of being stuck indoors because the weather is rubbish. That kind of life feels lighter, fuller, more adventurous, and more fulfilled life doesn't start with bravery. It starts with making a conscious decision. Because this is the part people often miss. You don't have to be fearless to do big things. You just have to decide they're possible. Anything you want to do already has a path. So let's commit to knowledge, learning how something actually works, finding the support, and being around people who've done it before you. Sometimes it's simply moving through the fear of the unknown and making knowledge become one of the bases for your confident decision making. Fear isn't a red line, and fear certainly won't disappear. It's something that goes hand in hand with growth. You have to become comfortable with knowing you're not always going to get it right. Most of my knowledge actually comes from the things that I did wrong and learnt from those rather than the things I did right. I truly believe we're capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. Lives don't change because of perfect timing or because some people get lucky. It's because someone decides to back themselves and just try, to take one step and work the rest out as they go. Don't overthink the what ifs. To really understand how I make decisions today and why I trust myself the way I do, you have to go back with me for a moment, back to high school. Back to a time that, whether I liked it or not, actually shaped me. Confidence wasn't something I was born with, it was something I earned. In the early years, I was Miss Popular, big group of friends, very social, and always laughing, and the one making people laugh too. I got myself into plenty of trouble, was suspended, had a bad attitude, and pushed boundaries. Looking back now, it was obvious what was going on. I was trying to fit in, trying to be liked, trying to be everything to everyone. A people pleaser without even realising it. Then everything changed. I'd been out of school for 2 weeks, and when I came back, my entire friendship group had fallen out with me. Just like that. One day I was surrounded by people, the next I was completely on my own. What followed was a really tough period. I was bullied, I barely had friends, there were fights, some of them literally organised outside the school gates. Luckily, my big sister, her friends, and my dad waited for me most days because we never really knew what was going to come next. It was horrific, not just for me, but for my family too. Watching me go through it, but surviving that did something to me. I realised I didn't actually need anyone's approval to be okay. I'd been on my own, I'd survived. That experience quietly rewired the way I see the world. I stopped chasing validation. I stopped worrying so much about what people thought of me, because once you've been through something like that, external opinions lose a lot of their power. Over the last 12 years, I've coached thousands of people from all different walks of life and industries, not just in property world. Entrepreneurs, business owners, women building careers, people starting from scratch, people reinventing themselves. And no matter what the goal is, one thing comes up again and again. What will people think of me if I do this? You don't need an awful few years at school to break free from that. You don't need adversity or trauma to stop caring what people think. But if other people's opinions are driving your decisions, then this will hold you back every single time. As awful as that period was, I look back now and I think, thank God I went through it. If there's one thing that explains my life better than anything else since then, is that I'm a winger. Some people hear that and think it's brave. Others hear that and think I'm slightly unhinged. Personally, I believe it's one of my best qualities. I've never been the type of person to wait until I feel ready. This usually never happens and only holds people back. I've had around 30 jobs. I know I'm not exaggerating. If an opportunity came up, I always said yes, especially when I was terrified. I've always said yes first and then just figured it out later. This mentality, along with not caring about external noise and opinions, was my ticket to growth and success. Inside, I might be panicking, heart racing, knees wobbling, inner voice screaming, why have you done this? But on the outside, calm, composed, poker face, fully intact. One of my first jobs was in my mum and dad's fruit and veg shop. They'd been market traders for years, and as soon as I was old enough, I was there to help. I was there bagging fruit, stacking the shelves, chatting to customers, working the tills. The pressure was always on. Long queues, busy days, trying to keep everyone happy and everything moving. I loved it. That job taught me how to deal with people, think on my feet, and keep going when everything felt hectic. From there, my career path took what you might call the creative route. I tried a bit of everything. A lifeguard, animal shelter worker, a fitness instructor teaching all over the country. Then one day I decided I didn't want to work in fitness anymore. I should probably become a physio instead. 2 weeks later, I'd applied for university, got a place, packed up and moved out. No overthinking, just action. People still say to me, but how do you just drop everything and go so quickly? And my answer is always, I just find a way. I sold my car, I left my job, I packed up and took 3 new jobs on near university just to make it work. It wasn't glamorous, it definitely wasn't easy, but I didn't sit there and list the reasons why I couldn't do it. I just did what I had to do. Then there was the betting shop manager job. 0 experience, a CV that was, let's say, a little bit optimistic. I may have elaborated slightly on my experience, and by slightly, I mean I was very confident about the things I technically hadn't done yet. Somehow, I still got the job done. Day 1, they handed me a stack of cash to count. I was counting so slowly, it was painful. And there was this older bloke next to me, the type of person who's clearly worked in this type of place his whole life. I could feel him watching me, not judging, just knowing, like I've already cottoned on to you. Did my face give anything away? Absolutely not. Poker face throughout. I went home, I took cash out of the bank and practiced counting money all night, then came back the next day like I'd been born doing it. Winging it isn't chaos, it's self belief followed by action. The same mentality is what took me to America. I moved over to continue my physio studies, again on what most people would call a whim. I ended up working on the sidelines of basketball and American football games, completely immersed in a world I'd never imagined for myself. The memories I made there were incredible, all because of another decision that wasn't overthought, just trusted. You don't need to be ready. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. After all the adventuring, I eventually settled into something more long-term: online marketing. I did it for 11 years and built a six-figure business. It became part of who I am. Everyone knew that was my thing. And when I had my twin girls, for that season of my life, it was perfect. Flexible, familiar, safe. But slowly I realised I wasn't in love with it anymore. I stayed longer than I should have, not because I needed to, but because I didn't want to let other people down. Mum life really changes you. You lose yourself a little bit. You feel guilt from every angle. I went back to marketing because I miss speaking on big stages, the coaching, the buzz, the excitement. I thought that would fix it, and it didn't. No one really talks about how much motherhood changes you and messes with your sense of self. I loved my girls more than I knew possible, but I also felt myself disappearing a little. The guilt came from every angle: guilt for working, guilt for not working, guilt for wanting more, guilt for not being fully present. It's a strange tension. Loving your child with your whole heart, while still wanting and feeling you want more outside of them. But it also made me more disciplined with my time than I'd ever been before. I didn't want my girls to grow up feeling like I was half there, always distracted, always pulled in 100 directions. At the same time, I wanted them to see what a bloody good work ethic looks like. To understand that if you want something in life, you don't just wish for it, you work for it, you build it, and you show up. The balance is delicate, but it matters to me. Presence and ambition don't have to cancel each other out. They can coexist if you're intentional. What I didn't realise at the time was that marketing had quietly funded something else: property. The money I earned went into buying houses on the side. I never saw it as a future career until a friend pointed out how my face lit up every time I talked about it. The interiors, the transformations, the tenants, the potential of a building. That was the moment it clicked. My dream didn't die, it evolved. And that's allowed. You're allowed to change direction. You're allowed to outgrow things. You're allowed to redefine who you are as many times as you need. Life looks very different now. Not in a flashy way, but in a grounded way. This feels right kind of way. These days, my business world revolves completely around property. I'm obsessed with it. It challenges me, it excites me, frustrates me, and stretches me, and I love every bit of it. My portfolio has grown steadily over time and now sits at over 3.5 million, made up of a mix of residential buy-to-lets alongside a strong commercial portfolio. Restaurants, hairdressers, play centres, baby scan clinics, to name a few. And now our big next move is a 4-level commercial building right in the town centre. Beautiful, all brick, full of character, full of potential, exactly my kind of thing. And while property is my foundation, I've never been someone who believes in putting myself in one box. I'm open to different business models, new exciting opportunities, and exciting partnerships that feel aligned. Our latest investment is in building a paddle club, a leisure facility, something completely different, and a reminder that there are always new ways to create and grow and build wealth. When you stay open-minded, willing to keep learning. What I love the most is that it still gives me what I've always wanted: freedom. I get to build something meaningful while still being present as a mum. I can be ambitious without sacrificing the things that matter the most. That balance didn't happen overnight. It came from years of trying things, getting things wrong, backing myself anyway, and learning as I went. And learning hasn't stopped. If anything, it's ramped up. I'm constantly reading, watching, asking questions, and finding mentors. I invest in coaching because I'm not naive to think I know everything already. Knowledge has always been my shortcut. The more I learn, the more confident I become, and the more confident I become, the bigger I play. Not every project has gone perfectly. Some haven't made the money we expected. Some tested my patience, my confidence, and my ability to sit with things not going exactly to plan. But I've learned to be okay with that, to be okay with not always getting everything right. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. The best lessons have always come from moving forward, not from waiting until everything feels safe and certain. Those projects, the messy ones, the ones that sharpened my instincts and sharpened me as an investor I am today. At this stage, property is very much built around collaboration. I work with investors in different ways. People have money sitting in the bank and want it working harder for them in a safe, structured way, with a better return than leaving it untouched. Some want a completely hands-off investment without the stress of being landlords or learning the ropes themselves. Others are excited by property and want to be involved alongside someone who has experience and earning while they learn. That mix works brilliantly. It allows projects to move forward with the right balance of capital, strategy, and learning opportunities. It's a secure way for money to be put to work, but for the right person, it can also be a way to understand the property world from the inside, supported by experience rather than trial and error. Looking back, the biggest shift hasn't been what I've built, it's a trust I now have in myself to handle whatever comes next. And standing here, I'm grateful for the journey, for the freedom I have now, and for the fact that what once felt like a dream now feels like the life that fits. If there's one thing I hope you take from my journey so far, this is just the beginning, is that believe in yourself more than you believe in the noise. You are capable of far more than you realise. Anything you want to do is learnable. If something feels scary, learn about it. If you feel unsure, find someone who's already done it before you and learn from them. Knowledge changes everything. Confidence comes from understanding, and understanding comes from being willing to start before you feel ready. I genuinely believe I can do anything, not because I'm special, but because I trust myself to figure it out. That trust didn't come overnight. It came from making decisions that felt right for me, even when other people didn't understand them, even when I worried about what people might think. The truth is that most people are far too busy living their own lives to be judging yours. They're not paying your bills, they're not living with the consequences of your choices, you are. So make decisions that align with the life you want. Be disciplined enough to keep going when it's uncomfortable. Be brave enough to change direction when something no longer fits. And confident enough to know that if someone else can do it, so can you. Trust yourself, back yourself. You already have everything you need. You just need to believe it.
Thank you for listening to Show Your Light. If something in this episode landed for you, take a moment to share it. Send it to a friend. Post your biggest takeaway or leave a review, because these stories aren't meant to sit quietly on a shelf. They're meant to be heard. They're meant to be felt and shared. This podcast is a companion to the book, Show Your Light Collective. And you'll find the book link, the author links, and the filmed YouTube version in the show notes. And if you're a woman in business who knows it's time to be seen, to stop shrinking, and to start showing your light, please connect with me. I'll see you in the next episode.